Hey everybody, welcome to the AI Guide where we focus on the human impact of AI. So what is AI going to do to you and all humans? We're going to talk about that topic directly today. And from someone who should know, you will recognize the name of the person who wrote this article a couple of weeks ago in the Wall Street Journal. Eric Schmidt, does that ring a bell? Former CEO of Google, no less, and CEO while many of the initial breakthroughs in AI occurred. So he should know what he's talking about. By the way, this is exactly why I started the AI Guide, to prepare you for a completely radically different future. Title of this article, How We Can Control AI. So Eric says, today's large language models, behind their remarkable language capabilities and impressive breadth of knowledge, lie extensive swaths of data, capital, and time. Many of these models take more than $100 million to develop and require months of testing and refinement by humans and machines. They are refined up to millions of times by iterative processes. What's still difficult to encode, he says, is human values. That currently requires an extra step known as reinforcement learning from human feedback, in which programmers use their own responses to train the model to be helpful and accurate. Meanwhile, so-called red teams provoke the program in order to uncover any possible harmful outputs. This combination of human adjustments and guardrails is designed to ensure the alignment of AI with human values and overall safety. But as models become more sophisticated, this approach may prove insufficient. Why? Something I talked about in a video last week. Some models are beginning to exhibit polymathic behavior. They appear to know more than just what is in their training data and can link concepts across fields, languages, and geographies. At some point, they will be able to, for example, suggest recipes for novel cyber attacks or biological attacks. This is from the head of Google, rather former head of Google. All this will be based on publicly available knowledge. There's little consensus about how we can rein in these risks. Potential commercial offerings like the ability to fine-tune the company's ChatGPT program for different customers and applications could be very profitable. But such customization could also undermine some of OpenAI's basic safeguards in ChatGPT. Tensions like that around AI risks will only become more prominent as models get smarter and more capable. And he's suggesting this may be why the weird drama happened at OpenAI. We need to adopt new approaches to AI safety that track the complexity and innovation speed of the core models themselves, which, as I said, GPT-4 is out and 5 is imminent. Can our current safety tests keep up with the rapid pace of AI development? Most people are saying no. Let's see what he says. What's much harder to test for is what's known as capability overhang, meaning not just the model's current knowledge, but the derived knowledge it can potentially generate on its own. These are learning models. Red teams have so far shown some promise in predicting models' capabilities, but upcoming technologies could break our current approach to safety in AI. For one, recursive self-improvement is a feature that allows AI systems to collect data and get feedback on their own and incorporate it to update their own parameters, thus enabling the models to train themselves. By the way, if you like this so far, please like, subscribe, and share. That really helps us. Also, please support us on Patreon. $5 or $10 really helps. So again, we're hearing directly from Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google. The full scope of the potential new capabilities that could be enabled by recursive self-improvement is not known at this time. So they don't know how these things are going to evolve themselves. Another example would be multi-agent systems, where multiple independent AI systems are able to coordinate with each other to build something totally new. We're on the verge of all this, folks. This so-called combinatorial innovation, where systems are merged to build something new, will be a threat simply because the number of combinations will quickly exceed the capacity of human oversight. All that goes to say these systems will be smarter than us, which everyone is talking about. It will likely be very difficult to monitor such technologies once these breakthroughs occur. In other words, these are exponential systems that will outstrip us. Current regulatory approaches are based on individual model size and training effort and are based on passing increasingly rigorous tests. But these techniques will break down as the systems become orders of magnitude more powerful and potentially elusive. We're talking about AGI here, folks. And we've talked about what he says next. Europe has so far attempted the most ambitious regulatory regime with its AI Act, imposing transparency requirements and varying degrees of regulation based on the model's risk level. But the AI Act has already fallen behind the frontier of innovation, as open source AI models, which are largely exempt from the legislation, why? Because they're open source, expand in scope and number. President Biden's recent executive order on AI took a broader and more flexible approach, giving direction and guidance to government agencies and outlining regulatory goals, though without the full power of the law that the AI Act has. U.S. rules do not require that AI systems in the U.S. pass the test, he says. So how do we fix this? Eric Schmidt says, the best way to solve these problems is to create a new set of testing companies that will be incentivized to out-innovate each other. That's a very interesting idea. Their testers will also themselves have to be powerful AI systems, precisely trained and refined to excel at the single task of identifying safety concerns. So these will be very narrow AI models. These testing companies should be checked and certified by government regulators, but developed and funded in the private market with possible support by philanthropy. So this approach is used for a lot of other things. For example, the way food is produced, the way gasoline is dispensed. Many things are covered this way. The AI field is moving too quickly, and the stakes are too high for exclusive reliance on typical government processes and timeframes. One way this can unfold is for government regulators to require AI models exceeding a certain level of capability to be evaluated by government-certified private testing companies, with model builders paying for this testing and certification as to meet safety requirements. As AI models proliferate, growing demand for testing would create a big enough market to support these companies. Testing companies could specialize in certifying submitted models across different safety regimes, such as the ability to self-proliferate, create new bio or cyber weapons, or manipulate or deceive their human creators. Without such a market and the competitive incentives it brings, governments, research labs, and volunteers will be left to guarantee the safety of the most powerful systems ever created by humans using tools that lag generations behind. As they advance, the threats we face today will only expand as new systems learn to self-improve, collaborate, and potentially resist human oversight. While the risks are real, they are not inevitable. So here we have the former head of Google proposing what I have repeatedly said on this channel, that Strong regulation of the most dangerous technology yet invented by mankind is urgently needed. And his approach is something I haven't thought of and have never talked about, and it's very interesting. So it's worth pursuing, but it requires the force of law, which means that Congress must act. So reach out to your Congress people, folks. This is so easy these days. They have a form right on their website you can fill out. And when they start getting millions of people telling them they need to do this, they'll do it. Trust me, they always respond to pressure. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, please support us on Patreon. $5 or $10 does help. I greatly appreciate you, my audience, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.